Please introduce yourself.
My name's Kgosi Ranoto. Friends call me Outcast.
What type of artist are you?
Well, I work in a lot of different fields of art. I'd say I do more stuff like music, specifically rock, thrash, punk. I do vocals, play the guitar. I do piercings too, did my own. I also got, what else? I do drawings and stuff sometimes. Most of the time nowadays, I don't really get to it as much as often. But it's usually paper, digital, that kind of thing. Also write books. I write a lot. I haven't published anything, but I'm thinking of working on that.
Um, so, where did your love for piercing start?
For piercings, I'd say it was a thing of when I was first in high school, I had this idea because of like this one punk character from like a manga that I read. It was called Great Teacher Onizuka. He had like 9 different ear piercings in the manga, and I always thought that was the coolest thing ever. So when I got to high school, I decided to do piercings. My older brother paid for my first set, but for a while, because of living with my parents, kind of not getting to be myself while I'm there with them, I couldn't really do anything. But at some point in college, I met a friend of mine, Kate. He got me into all the piercings and stuff because he gave me the opportunity to think, you know what, maybe I can just be myself, even if it's unapologetic, it's rude, it's vulgar. I can still get into piercings. I got into tattoos as well. My first tat was a swan neck tattoo. I have uh, more recent tattoo. Planning on getting into more as well. Also working on trying to get into tattoos.
Any symbolism behind each tattoo?
Uh, well, for the neck tat, it's specifically from this one anime. It's called Berserk. It's a manga where the symbol kind of means struggling through life regardless of how difficult it is. So I'd say it was something like after a real difficult point in my life, I got the tattoo and I thought to myself, yeah, this is something meaningful to me, you know? This was kind of like self-expressionism. I did the design, did it online. Then I showed a friend of mine who's a tattoo artist about it. It was it was more something I didn't put a lot of thought into, more something that just felt like it was me, like when I did the design, I thought this is a very me kind of thing.
Third one?
Oh, what?
Third tattoo.
Oh, third. Oh no, these two are set. It's like supposed to be symmetrical and stuff.
Okay, you talk about kind of not being able to be yourself. How would you say that art can be a form of self expression and kind of expressing one's identity?
Well, I went to art school, and at first I really tried with art, thinking it was more something that I should use to benefit myself in making a career, like getting into traditional, like more workplace kind of settings when it comes to art, corporate environments and stuff. But I started realizing when it comes to self expressionism with art, it's more of a thing of for me, it was always a thing of I feel like I'm being oppressed by multiple systems. I don't get the opportunity to draw what I want to draw, make music about what something that's meaningful to me. When it came to art, I always thought it's more of a opportunity for me to do what I've always wanted to, be the person I've always wanted to be. Like be myself openly regardless of how other people perceive that, whether they hate on it or whether they think it's something honestly inspiring. I'd like to think maybe I can inspire people, but like honestly, I love the hate. I love the aggression because when I have to deal with a normie who will see my art, see the piercings, maybe some tattoos, or just things that I do to be me, and they start thinking, "Hey, I hate this. I hate the way this is." Like it makes me feel uncomfortable. I love when like just boring normal people go for that. To me, it's like it motivates me to just, break the norm more and more. Make people realize you can actually be yourself, regardless of like if other people like it or not. I just, so when I get hate, it motivates me. It makes me think, yeah, I'm gonna start upping my game. Because at first it was the hate for the crop top and the belly piercing. Then I thought of the tattoos. And I thought, fuck you, I'm gonna take it a step upwards. Oh, my apologies, I am. But like, it was more of a thing of kind of spite. And I feel like that's the beautiful thing about art. It's self-expressionism at its fullest. It's you being able to open up and be the real you. That's something I've always considered to be like the true values of art. You can speak out about something you've always wanted to speak out about. You can spread a message of awareness, even if it's just with the way you dress. And it's something of, I want to give off this certain vibe because that's the kind of person I am at heart. I say go for it all the way, and that was always the meaning of art to me. That's, or at least how I took it.
Interesting. So, do you think that people who do opt for the more corporate path can still be authentic with how they express themselves?
I say, if you're gonna do art for corporate, at the very least, your soul has to be in that art. Something about you has to be there. It can't just be a corporate amalgamation made to please a higher up, or just be made to make a brand look good. It has to be something where you can sense there's a bit of that one person in their art. Something I've always considered, even with corporate art. You can see, I consider film art, right? And that's about as corporate as it gets most of the time because it's huge studios. But like, the thing about it is you can still see a touch of the director, the writer's souls, everything about that in the film. And that's something I've always like thought, if it's gonna be corporate, at least let it be corporate and still be you. That's how art is authentic in my eyes.
Okay, cool. If we're talking about authentic and corporate, what is your stance on corporate companies trying to move into more AI inspired, AI made art? What do you think that could take us?
I honestly feel as though when it comes to corporate, it's all soulless. That's the thing. It's made for capitalism and the gain of money. That's the whole purpose. So, of course, it was inevitable they were going to start moving to AI. But I feel as though at some point they're going to realize it's that soullessness, the fact that AI doesn't quite have heart like human art does. It's going to be that helps them realize, you know what, maybe this is why our customers are actually starting to hate us more. We're robbing people of their jobs when they could be artists. You know, I've always thought concept art for video games was something monumental. And the idea of a video game using any form of AI to recreate that feels like the very essence of the game itself is just being taken. And that's mostly how most corporate settings will go about using AI art. It's the same kind of process. The people, the teams, the human beings, and the hearts and souls of people that went into that art is just kind of ripped away. The art itself is just, it feels empty, soulless, no substance whatsoever. It's just something made for mass production and so that a company can get something done as quickly as possible, instead of taking it through the process of actual artists who put everything they have into that.
Do you think more corporate positions should be held by artists?
Honestly, I think yes. Corporate is possibly one of the worst things that has come about in any bit of the industrial revolution. Like, we as human beings evolving to the point of corporate, like corporations and capitalism at its finest, was possibly one of the worst mistakes ever. And that is because corporate is soulless. It cares solely for monetary gain and nothing else. The thing is, I feel as though true artists that care about their art, that care about more of the message and what they can get across with what they're doing, being put in the power of corporate positions puts it more in a perspective of Now you're having less greedy people in charge. Now you're having people who genuinely want the good of the company and the good of people as a whole, just consumers, everyone surrounding the business. That's something that modern corporations have been lacking since, not even just modern, it's been ages of just corporations being cruel. I don't want to get too much into it. I feel that's gonna be a rant. That's the case. When it comes to corporations, what I've always thought is it's the thing of their soulless companies. They have no heart, no care, no human compassion or empathy. It's solely for the sake of monetary gain to the point where they'll sacrifice the lives of good people, all for the sake of more money. It doesn't matter how much they have to take. It doesn't matter how much they have to poison crops, fields. It doesn't matter. Their entire purpose is to essentially drain the good people of this world, just normal consumers, of everything that they have. It's it's something I've always hated. Something that through my art, through my message, I've always tried to get across it. How corporations essentially they corporations are like a, a parasite, kind of, right? They keep eating away at each good bit of society, keep adding more monetary, like focusing the entire world towards more of a monetary view on life. It's a thing of money. Oh, I need this, I need that. You can't even live on your own with your own self sustainability because corporations continue to steal that away from you. They steal land from farmers. They steal money out of the pockets of good people. And on top of all that, they continue to keep oppressing artists by adding stuff like AI solely so that they can take out the human process of just that bit of art, the time it takes, the effort, the thought, all of it ripped away because a corporation wants to get as much money as possible, as quickly as possible. I've always hated corporations with a passion, something that, and it's not even just in the sense of art, just as a whole.
So
Hard to do that without swearing, not gonna lie.
understandable. So I think it's pretty evident that these corporations do use art to push their own agendas. How can artists also use art to push to essentially push back against those agendas and kind of raise awareness against this essentially this capitalist machine?
See, the thing is, what I've always thought is true self expressionism. And it's something that's always been relayed through punk, something I'm really heavily passionate about. Self expressionism also comes in the sense of you have to go against societal norms. If these norms continue to damage your life, make it more difficult, that's something, and for the greater good of people, that's something we have always had to go against. That's why I always think punk is the way to go when it comes to alternative culture. All the other cultures still include some sense of political fueling behind it. There's a sense of you have to know that if you're going to express yourself to the fullest, you have to know you're going to hate corporations. The thing is, I've always thought if that's the case, when it comes to corporations and let's say them, how an artist can really feel, how an artist can go against like the, how do I say it? The constant capitalistic machine that constantly takes away from people's lives, their hard earned work, everything. It rips them of everything they own. When it comes to that, I've always thought artists have an obligation to spread a message, to make people think, even if that thinking makes them uncomfortable. That's why I love hate. It shows that they're feeling uncomfortable. They don't like what they're seeing because what they're seeing is going against everything that they've always thought is the norm because of modern culture and capitalistic machines and just the government oppressing people. The thing is, they have to, as artists, it's a necessity that you have to spread a message. You have to do something. Even if, I'm not gonna lie, if it comes down to anarchy, I say gut 'em. I say it, if it comes down, okay, that's a bit violent, but what I'm saying is it's an extreme measure that we have to go for as artists to really spread the message, make sure that people everywhere can kind of understand the fact that hey, this is supposed to be how do I describe it? This is supposed to be a thing of we shouldn't allow them to oppress us like this. We're supposed to like as artists teach the world, hey, you deserve better. It's supposed to be a wake up call. It's what I love expressing in my music. Because with punk, it's essentially screaming out every bit of aggression, especially with thrash punk. It's screaming out every bit of aggression and anger that you hold towards a system that constantly continues to just make sure life is as difficult as possible for you. So I say it's it's a thing of make people uncomfortable, make them feel weirded out, make them feel like hey, maybe I should consider this. Make sure that you leave a mark, something for them to think about, so that no matter what they keep thinking, hey, maybe they're onto something, maybe that is the way to go about more just being an artist, or just going about your life as a whole. Self-expressionism, regardless of what the world says about you expressing yourself.
Okay. When you talk about self-expression, which truth do you carry when you do express yourself?
When it comes to the truth I carry, I'd say over my life, I've learned from a lot of different people. Oddly enough, a lot of them are fictional characters, but also real people in my life. People that inspire me to think, hey, maybe if I can learn one thing from this person and another thing from that person, I can build my own values off of seeing the best in others. I can think, hey, from everything that I'm learning, what's my take on it all? What's my personal opinion? It's a thing of you yourself have to start questioning yourself on your own values. And from there onward, right? With those values, you create your own self image, your own thought of this is the kind of person I want to be. How far am I from being that? Or am I that kind of person right now? And if I'm not, how can I express myself more and make myself that person that I truly know deep down I am? Because you learn different lessons from different people, you pick up on different traits, skills, and you start thinking about the idea that maybe I've always seen it with a lot of people that enter the alternative community. It's like early on in the stages of it, they think to themselves, maybe like this image that I've always had of myself for a while was never quite what I wanted, or maybe they've always wanted to express themselves through alternative culture, but they never got the opportunity to because, parents can be oppressive or just the environment they're in. It's a thing where at some point your own self image, your own ideals, when you start thinking about them, do they really line up with like who you are as a person? And I'd say it's kind of just figuring yourself out above all else. Thank you for your time. Hey, same time and everything.